Hi, Professor Pittman with the Pittman Jiu-Jitsu Academy. So let's go over key number 3. Let me see if I can make a statement, tease it through, give you a couple of examples of how it would operate in the different areas of your life that you know need constant consideration and constant attention. So the idea is the strategy. Key 3 is the strategy of bluffing. And the statement is perception is often everything. So the question becomes, or is, will you and your group act more efficiently if you acted more confidently? Now, I'm not talking about faking it. I'm not saying, hey, let's go fake it till we make it. I'm talking about how are we going to discipline ourselves and do the right thing at the right time with the right attitude. We're going to lean in even though we realize our competency is low and our confidence is low. So I did not say, hey, let's be tricking people. Let's be tricky. I'm saying sometimes understand that as a strategy, you have to bluff as a way of giving of yourself. You know, we don't go wrong by just giving of ourselves and having a strategy to realize this is how I'm going to be giving. And sometimes the only strategy available is to realize, you know, my confidence is low, it's time to bluff. You know, I'm just a big believer that every story has a beginning. And I also understand that in a leader's case, more often than not, it can have two beginnings, yours and theirs. And I tell you what, I think all of us can attest to that one. I mean, sometimes we do stuff hoping it works, but acting like we know it will. In other words, we realize our competency is low, our confidence is low, but sometimes it does make good sense to employ a strategy, the strategy of bluffing. And there's a lot of spin-off on this concept. It's tempting to take it in a lot of different areas. You know, act as if act as if you already got what you want, act as if, you were already in the, you are where you want to be in a certain position of your life, etc., etc. And in my mind, it's just another twist on bluffing. And again, when I say bluffing, I mean something seems to be bad. Well, it's your job to turn it around and then actually go for it. We're able to tell yourself, okay, this is my particular situation. It's not all that I'd hoped for. However, my job is to go for the gusto, and my competence is low, and my confidence is too. So here's an example. Perhaps you're in a relationship. You have a spouse, and that relationship dynamic is in a dire position. You're convinced that you're being run over. They're convinced of the same thing is happening to them from you. And then you sit back and you take a wise look and say, okay, we both have some predisposed positions that we're operating from, and I now have a choice. I have to respond to this. I can act as if my spouse is going after my jugular, seek to gain testament from my friends, get all ramped up and amped up and get a lawyer and start seeking to find evidence that she's picking up that knife again. Or you can decide, I've got to give of myself. I really don't know how to do that, but I'm just going to shut up and really try to listen for the sake of the kingdom, for the sake of me, her, the kids. And you can act as if, listen, I'm not getting a divorce. And I do realize that very few people bounce back successfully from these kind of positions. However, I'm going to give ourselves the best chance to do that. And, realize that the whole, sins of our fathers passed down to us and passed down to our children thing. Well, that's old news, and it doesn't have to be that way because we've been given grace. So maybe bluff to buy everyone some time so you can consider the right kinds of questions and deepen and broaden your story of the person that you're with and your particular situation and a broader sense. Or how about going from the bottom to the top? I remember a long time ago I heard a story about a man who was, he was out of a job and he was really in dire straits, broke financially. And he saw a job interview for a financial institution. I'm going to butcher this tremendously, but he realized, you know what? I don't know what I'm doing. I got low confidence and competence. So what he did was he found a pinstripe suit and he put a copy of the Wall Street Journal in his armpit and he went in and he interviewed. And he got the position. And every day he did the same thing and he continued to do that until he worked his way to where he wanted to be in that company. So in my mind, he didn't know what he was doing. But what ended up happening was by showing up and, bluffing a bit, he then bought some time to bring value to the company. He brought value to the people. Within that team, they gained the value to earn. So as a result of that bluffing, what happened? People around him gained a higher confidence. It wasn't like he was trying to trick them. He knew he would get there. He just knew he wasn't there yet. So he employed a strategy. So he went first. So this is an example of going first. Another example or story in my mind is whether or not you have confidence that you can do something, you just realize, hey, my job is to have the courage. And from my understanding, it's courage. It means more heart. And what falls out of you deciding when my competence is low and my confidence is low, I'm going to employ more heart and lean in and lean forward and forward the action towards the resolve, even though there's a huge amount of fear present. I'm going to take action, even though I'm not really certain what the outcome's going to be, where I'm not going to give up on not acting because I'm afraid. Just like we learn in Jiu-Jitsu on the mat, to be in action in the face of your fear and show up, to learn to show up and never be afraid to give your very best. So again, in terms of leadership, perception is often everything, yours and theirs. Another story that comes up in my mind's eye, on a presidential level is look at Donald Trump. In my mind, why does Donald Trump look so confident? When I look at him, it doesn't seem that he's bringing notes. It doesn't seem that he's using a teleprompter. Is he bluffing? I don't know. I can't tell. He might be. I don't think he knows what he's going to say before he says it. He just acts like he does. And because of that, in my mind, he's created this overwhelming support, this overwhelming following. So keep in mind that every story has a beginning. And in a leader's case, it can have two beginnings, yours and theirs. And you got to take a personal responsibility for both and continuously lean in. And, perception, well, often it's everything. Will you and your group act more efficiently, effectively, positively, courageously, just by acting as though you know what the outcome will be? And the answer in my mind is sometimes you absolutely have to. So there you have it. Again, listen, I wish you all the very best. I wish the very best for all of you. If you have any questions or comments, listen, please see me at the Academy on the Mat. In the meantime, keep the faith, keep working, and God bless.